Hey folks, Paul from Easy Acres Off-Grid Homestead. One of the most common questions I get, or one of the most common questions I see asked on off-grid forums or subreddits or even Facebook groups is how did you find your land? Or do you have any tricks for finding land? And for me personally, there were some factors that I knew that I was looking for in the particular parcel of land that I eventually settled on. Privacy was really important to me. Access was really important to me. The zoning was really important to me. So this is all research that you're going to have to do on the area that you plan on homesteading. You know, most of the affordable land out there, unfortunately, is rather marginal. It's not going to have good access to water. It's not going to be always in the most convenient zoning area. So there are ways to overcome these challenges, though. One of the most important factors, though, is water. Unfortunately, due to the very little money that I had to spend on my land, I couldn't afford anything with water, but if I had more money, that is something that I would have looked for. This part of the world is especially arid, and water access is just one of the most priceless things that you can have. One of the other factors that I was looking for that I don't see a lot of people really comment on was access to public land. One of my favorite things about my property is that it is adjacent to tens of thousands of acres of national forest that is public. I can get a permit to cut firewood there. I can get a permit to harvest timber out there. I can even get a permit to graze livestock in the national forest if I so choose to. So that might be something that you might look into. Maybe you only have a 5-acre parcel that's officially yours, but if you have the entire national forest on your doorstep, that's tens of thousands of acres that belongs to all of us that you can utilize and you have easy access to. The single best tip I can give you for looking for rural parcels of land is to actually call realtors, because not every parcel makes it on the internet, especially if it's a parcel like mine was, where it was just part of an investment portfolio. Ma'am, please don't eat my corn. Thank you. Thank you, darling. Not every parcel, especially these rural parcels that might be a part of a forgotten investment portfolio or maybe are in tax arrears, not all of them make a listing on Google or LandWatch or anything. And a lot of times if you call a realtor and tell them the parameters of what you're looking for, they might have some tips for you. They might have some leads for you that, you know, aren't necessarily on the internet just yet. That's how I got mine. As a matter of fact, the previous owners of my land had never visited it. It was part of an investment portfolio that they had set up like 60 years ago or something like that. So a lot of this land is overlooked and kind of forgotten. And if you're looking to find a parcel like that, it really pays to call around. When I was looking for land, I spent a better part of almost 2 years looking, and I spent just about every weekend, vacation days, burned through all my sick days, driving out to actually physically walk parcels. I considered some parcels in parts of the world that would have been sight unseen, but that's just so fraught with things that can go wrong, things that aren't necessarily going to be on a real estate agent's listing. I just didn't want to risk it. So a lot of these properties too, all I was given were the GPS coordinates for the property. Given just the GPS coordinates, it's up to you to find it. There are a couple apps that will help you out. One of my favorites is the Onyx app. Onyx Hunt is the one that I use. But the cool thing about that, with the paid version, which is only about $10 a year, is that it'll actually show you the names and the contact information of property owners, which is great if you end up adjacent to somebody and you never see them there, to get in touch with them and say, hey, my name is such and such and I'm your new neighbor. And just sort of establish a good relationship with your neighbors that you have. When I say neighbors, I'm being kind of loose with the term. You know, I call a neighbor somebody who might live a number of miles away, but it's just how it is. Another app that's really useful when it comes to determining property lines is called Land ID. And I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but that's something to look into that I see a lot of people using. I personally use the Onyx Hunt, but I am going to start using the Land ID one here shortly. One last thing I kind of want to leave you with is make sure you do your due diligence when it comes to what's legal and what's not where you are. I didn't know a couple things when I came out here, but after making a couple phone calls to the county and kind of determining what I could and couldn't do at my property, I got all my questions answered. It really pays to give them a call. Emails and everything are one thing, but there's a lot more information you can transfer through a phone call sometimes. Anyway, folks, I am Paul from Easy Acres Off-Grid Homestead. I wish you nothing but the best of luck in your search for your little perfect parcel of heaven on this little flawed planet of ours. And in the meantime, y'all take care and be easy.